Hi, I'm Keith, and I'm going to show you how to replace the alternator on a John Deere 35G. Replacing this alternator is going to be almost the same for all makes and models of machines, all sizes of machines.
Welcome to Service Call, a mechanic's guide to service, troubleshooting, and repair. And on this episode,
next we're going to remove the glass. I've already raised the windshield up. Now it's on the safety bar. I'm safe to work in here. I'm safe to put my arms in here. Jammed, it can't come back. Battery is now disconnected and we're safe to work on the alternator. See how it says 14.3? We know we're getting a good charge.
to easily and quickly book a mechanic, visit tecamohd.com.
On bigger machines, you don't need to lift the cab, but on smaller machines, we got to raise the cab. So on this machine, we're going to first remove this panel, then we're going to remove the glass. To remove this panel, it's a 13mm socket or a wrench. Remove these two bolts. And put this panel somewhere safe. Next, we're going to remove the glass. I've already raised the windshield up. This piece of glass, it sometimes is a little bit sticky. You got to give it a wiggle. It glues itself to the seal a little bit. And you just wiggle it free, slowly lift it up, and pull it out. Put this somewhere safe as well. Being glass, it may break. Now the next thing we need to do is in the back of the cab, there's 3 bolts, 19mm socket or a wrench. We can pull them out. These are the 3 bolts here, 1, 2, and 3. There is a decal here that shows you which ones to do. The ones with the red caps, if they still have red caps on them, we leave those in place. Now before we hook up and we lift this cab, you want to close the door. Right now this panel is not on here, but when you lift the cab, because the door is on an angle, it can tend to catch the back and you can cause damage. So the next thing we need to do is we need to actually hook onto it to lift it. I use my crane to lift it off a lifting point in the back of the cab. You can buy a special jack that mounts here on this black pad piece. It mounts in here. You can buy it from the dealer. And it's a manual jack that you can jack the cab up as well. Now that my crane's hooked up to the cab, we're going to lift it and pivot it forwards. You want to watch these hoses here. If we have the glass in still, the glass will push up against these hoses, will break the glass. That's why we remove the glass. As well, you want to make sure you're not damaging the cab on any parts that you may come in contact with. While you're raising the cab, you do not want to put your arms or anything under the cab until we have the safety lock in position. It's this red bar here. You can't pick it all the way up, so you have to slide it back, and then you can pivot it up. And it needs to sit in this little pocket here. Once it's in this little pocket, it's safe. Normally I'll lower the cab so it's sitting on that safety bar, and the safety bar can't kick out because of this lip right here. Now it's on the safety bar. I'm safe to work in here. I'm safe to put my arms in here. Can't go anywhere. See, it can't slide out at all. So we know that we're totally safe. So now that we have the cab raised, we have the safety lock in place. It's safe to work in here. I know the cab can't come down. We have the alternator here on the front of the engine. No way to change it without the cab up. We've got a couple things to do. We've got to remove the wiring off of it. We have to remove the alternator itself. Now, before we do anything on electrical systems, especially alternators, this wire has battery power. So we want to disconnect the ground from the battery so we're safe to put tools on this and not short it out on anything causing damage to tools or the electrical system. Battery on this machine is in behind this panel. We can just open it up. You always want to disconnect the ground, never the positive. If you try and disconnect the positive first, everything here is a ground when the ground cable is hooked up. So if I put tools on here and then touch a piece of metal with my tools, you're grounding it out, causing damage. So we'll disconnect the ground side. When I say ground side, you have a ground or a negative and you have a positive. The positive has a plus sign by the terminal somewhere. The ground or negative always has a minus sign, and that's the one that we're trying to undo. So now that it's undone, put it somewhere so that it can't flip back. There, it's jammed, it can't come back. Battery is now disconnected and we're safe to work on the alternator. First thing I'm going to do is cut this zip tie, just so we have the 2 wires free and a little easier to maneuver. Next thing I'll do is I'll unplug this. It's a press clip. Just squeeze it together, give it a wiggle and pop it off. There's 3 wires. Usually I'll give it a quick inspection because it does vibrate, and make sure there's no wear spots or cracked wires or broken wires. Next, we're gonna disconnect the charge wire here. On this machine, it's a 10mm nut. Now when I go to unscrew this, sometimes the whole stud wants to turn, which on an old alternator that you're replacing is okay, but you still got to get it loose. On the new alternator, you don't want that to turn because it'll break the wires on the inside of the alternator. So if you hold onto the wire firmly, it should hold the stud in place and just allow you to undo the nut. There's usually a washer and a nut, a couple washers on this one. So keep those, put those somewhere safe in case the new alternator does not have them. Now we can pop the positive wire off. Now that the wiring is disconnected, the fan belt is on it still, so we'll loosen that off. On this particular machine, the alternator is the fan belt adjuster. So if we loosen this bolt here on top, and there's a through bolt and nut on the bottom, this alternator will pivot. We can twist it in, pop the belt off, and then remove the bolts. This machine is a 12mm. I loosen it off and I leave it in for now, and then we need to undo the bottom one. Now there is a zap strap or a zip tie there as well. We're going to cut that out of the way so we can get the wires out of the way. This particular alternator uses a 14mm for the bolt and a 14mm for the nut on the back. So I remove the nut first. Put that somewhere safe as well. Now the alternator can pivot and move. It doesn't want to go all the way in, so I'm going to remove this top nut or top bolt right here. And I can see that this spacer is spinning at the same time. So when we pull this bolt out, we don't want to drop that spacer. Now we can pop the fan belt off. And now you can get a better look at the bolt that's here on the bottom. Looks to me like there's a stopper on the head of the bolt, so you didn't need a wrench for the top, just needed a wrench for the nut. Pull this bolt out. And now the alternator is out. We'll grab the new alternator, double check that it's the same. So now that we have both alternators here, we can have a look. The pulleys look the same, the mounts look the same, the wiring connections look the same on both. So we know that we have the same alternator here. Sometimes they come with no pulley. This one does come with a pulley. To change the pulley isn't difficult. You find the socket for here, you can grab onto this. You don't want to put the pulley in the vise at all, and just give it a couple hits with an air gun or an impact gun, and then you can put it onto the new side, do the same thing to tighten it up. In this case, we don't need to change it, so we're going to put this alternator on. Now to put this alternator on, it's basically the same steps but in reverse. We're going to put the lower bolt in first. Now that we can see it, we might as well put the nut on right away, hand tight. We can pivot it up here, and now we're going to pop the belt on. Now when you're putting the belt on, you want to make sure it's on the other pulleys still as well. Now I know I can see it's on the alternator. It needs to be on the crankshaft on the bottom as well. It was off a little bit, I just popped it on, and on the fan here as well. So we know we're on all three. We can pull on it, and now we're going to put the top bolt and spacer in. Now we don't want to tighten this bolt up all the way. We're just going to bring it in close so that we can still adjust the belt tension. We still have some movement there. I'm going to grab a small pry bar. Now when you're prying on anything, you have to make sure that the points that you're in contact with are not damaging wires or anything like that. So I don't want to get in behind this wire here because we will damage it. So we want to get in between it. I'm going to pry off this engine lifting point, and I can get a nice safe tension on this belt. If we hold the tension there, we can tighten up this bolt. Now this top bolt is tight. We know the fan belt is nice and tight. Now we're going to tighten up the nut on the bottom. And the bolt has a keeper on it, so it stops it from spinning, so we don't need to put a wrench on the head of the bolt, just the nut, and tighten the nut up. Now the alternator is mounted, belt is tight. We're going to reconnect the wiring. This clip just pushes in, this plug just pushes in, you'll hear the click. You know that it's locked in when you hear that click and you can't pull it out. And this alternator came with a new mounting nut. I'm going to grab a little bit of emery cloth and we're going to clean this terminal. We want to make sure it's clean so it gets a good connection. You can use sandpaper, emery cloth, anything that's abrasive that you can clean the electrical connection. I like to clean both sides. Now that we know that's nice and clean, we can put it onto the stud. Now the old nut and washers, the old nut had a couple of washers because it was a small nut. The new nut has a larger face on it with, you can see those lines there for locking it in place. So we don't need to use any washers on the new style of nut. Sometimes on machines that are a bit older, have more hours on them, this rubber boot becomes very hard and you can't move it out of the way. In this case, still pliable, I can move out of the way. I have done jobs in the past where I've had to use a knife and cut it so that I can get it out of the way. They become very stiff. Now again, you can see I'm holding onto the wire so it doesn't spin the stud. Make sure the boot goes back on to protect it from grounding anything out. And that alternator is installed. We're going to grab a zap strap. We're going to zap strap that back up the way it was. We're going to slide a zap strap through here, or zip tie, sorry. Now I cut one off the bottom as well, so I'm going to put one on the bottom as well again. A lot of people don't put zip ties like this back on. They're on here for a reason, to stop the wiring from rubbing against the case of the alternator, any other parts getting in the way of the fan belt. So they keep the wires protected from wear and being damaged. Now that the alternator is in, it's mounted, we're going to reconnect the ground of the battery, and then we're going to start it with the cab up so that we can make sure that everything's working properly, the belt stays on, and then we're going to check it to make sure that the system is charging. So we're going to reconnect the ground now. You will get a little bit of a spark, that's okay, that's the capacitors and stuff in the computers that are recharging basically. Whenever I'm done tightening, I always grab the terminal, try and wiggle it, make sure it's on there tight and it's not moving around. It'll create an arc and you won't get a good connection. So now that the battery's connected, I'm going to start the machine from here. We're going to leave the safety lever up so that no hydraulics can move. With the cab up, they can't anyways. There's a switch that eliminates them. And then I'm going to come over here and we're going to first check at the battery and see if we're getting a charge. My test light has a voltage reading on it when it's connected. If you don't have a test light like that, you can use a multimeter. Attach it to ground. Now you can see there's 12.2 volts in this battery. When we start it, we want to see somewhere 13.5, 13.9, 14 volts, and that range is where we want to see so that we know that we're getting a good charge. Now with the machine running, it should be charging, and let's see. See how it says 14.3? We know we're getting a good charge. If you're getting higher than 15 or 16 volts, your alternator is overcharging. It needs to be in the 14 volt range is where it's a really good charge and the alternator is working. Sometimes you might still get a 12 volt, 12.5 volt reading here. So you can check on the back of the alternator to see if the alternator is still charging, and I'll show you how to do that. So now with the machine running, I want you to be very cautious of the dangers of a spinning fan and a spinning fan belt, hot exhaust. Those things can be very dangerous. So I don't suggest doing this if you don't know the precautions to take to make sure it's safe. I'll show you anyways where the terminals are. So first we have to make sure we have a good ground. Now this terminal that we were playing with here, this is the positive terminal. So we want to check on the back of this terminal is where the output is. And you can see it says 14.6. So from here, there's 14.6. The battery is reading 14.3. That's how much voltage we lose in the wiring from the alternator to the battery. But we know the battery is charging because there's voltage there. We know the alternator is putting out voltage. So we know the new alternator is charging the system. Now that the alternator is done, we've verified that it's charging the system, we're going to lower the cab back down, bolt it back up, put the glass back in. So because we dropped it down onto our safety, we have to lift it back up to remove the safety again. We know it's high enough that I can put the safety back down, and then you want to push it forwards to lock it in so it can't come up. Now we're going to step back, make sure we don't have any body parts under there, and we're going to slowly lower it. Now that the cab is back down, it's the same steps in reverse as raising the cab. We're going to reinstall these 3 mounting bolts in the back side of the cab. Now that that's in, we're going to put the glass back in the front. I want to give it a good push, make sure it's all the way down. So if it's not all the way down, when you close this front windshield, it can hit it hard and it can break it. Now that the glass is in and the windshield's closed, we'll put this front panel back on. Now that the cab is back down and everything's put back together, we can return this machine to service. If you're looking for parts, belts, alternators, starters, any other parts, please visit fortishd.com. And that's how you change the alternator on a John Deere 35G. To support this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment.
Thanks for all the support so far, especially on this service call series. We love hearing feedback from the community, and if there's anything you'd like to see, be sure to let us know in the comments.